Welcome back to the Poor Valley Princess Kitchen. I'm Beth Morgan, and today I was making up some tomato basil soup, and I went down to the garden and I just happened to notice that there was some okra that needed to be harvested. So I gathered up that okra, and so while my tomatoes are roasting in the oven, getting ready to make my tomato basil soup, I am going to chop up my okra, and I thought, hey, let's see how we chop it up to freeze it, because I like to freeze my okra ready to fry in quart size bags. That's just enough for my family. And so here we go. Now, you've probably heard me say before, I am a teacher, and so that means August and September are really busy for me because I'm in that back to school mode. Because of that, sometimes my okra gets a little bit too large, and so it gets woody and it's not really good to freeze. So what I like to do first is just test my okra to see if it is woody, and if it is, I just throw it to the chickens. Now this is not. So what, Archie's barking at something. He sees somebody out in the field. I don't know, Craig's out there, I'm not too worried. So what I'm gonna do here is I just snip off the cap on the end, and I snip off the end, and then I like to just make bite-sized chunks like so. Okay, just bite-sized chunks. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all this okra and I'm just going to slice it all up into these little bite-sized chunks. Okay. And then I'm just going to slide it into my bowl. And I'll just repeat this process on all my okra. Now, I have two different kinds of okra here. I have an Alabama red and a crimson okra. Now, look, I want you to listen. See how hard that sounded? That is a woody piece of okra. See how too big it is? I just let that one go too much. So I'll just throw that one to my chickens and they will love it. And so I'll show you an easy way to do a lot at a time is just go ahead and snip off the little caps and the tails of several, and then you can, oh, that one was woody. The chickens get another one. And I'm just gonna do enough where I can slice up several at a time. Oh, there's another one. See, I waited too long to harvest, I'm afraid, but it is the life of a teacher. The last couple of weeks, I've had meetings after school, or I've had parent-teacher conferences, and so I've just not got home in time to get out to the garden and harvest the okra. So, see how I've lined them all up in a little line like that? And then I can just take my big knife and I can just do a bunch of bite-sized chunks at one time, and that is so easy for me to do, right? And so then I can just put those over in the bowl and keep going until I get it all done. Now, as soon as I bring this okra in, I do like to wash it because several woody pieces. I do not like bugs to get in my kitchen. And so as soon as I bring my harvest in, I give it a little rinse to make sure any dirt or bugs is off of it. This is my favorite. I love this okra. It has, I don't know, it just has a more mellow flavor. It's quite delicious. That one's too woody. Now that I've harvested it today, I'll go back out tomorrow and I'll do another harvest tomorrow, and I won't have all these woody pieces. Maybe I can stay on top of it this week. All right, here we go. Another big one. Just get my bite-sized pieces done. Okay. Dump that in the bowl. I don't have a lot today. Like I said, we are nearing the end of the harvesting season here in Poor Valley. I'm going to be honest, once school starts, I do go out and I try to keep the big weeds and things down, but I certainly do not take care of it the way I do in the summertime when I have all that extra time. It's just not possible. And even though I have tried in the past to do some fall planting, I find as a teacher, I just don't have the time. And so once school starts, I just enjoy the fruits of my summer labor, you know? Just keep my minimal upkeep going and start harvesting. Yeah, this is a really super easy way to preserve your food for the winter. I'm gonna do all four at a time here. Oh, I heard a woody one. Which one is it? I think it's this one, yeah. And get the tails. And there's another woody one. Now you can also, if you are ready to start seed saving, which I am not at that point in my season yet, but if you're ready to start seed saving, you can just let those huge pods dry out on the stalk and then gather those up, and you can harvest the seeds from those dried pods. That's what I did. These are from some seeds I saved at the end of last year. All right, so here's the last of my okra. To rinse it off. I got those tomatoes go everywhere when you are cutting those up. Here we go, get those little tails. All right, so I've got my okra cut up. I've got 1 egg. I've got salt and pepper all mixed up. And so now I've got a cup of cornmeal mix. It's already got the flour in it, right? This is what you might make cornbread out of. So I'm gonna dump my cup of cornmeal mix over the top here and stir that up until every piece is well coated. Now at this point, if you like hotness, like my Papa Walter did, at this point you could cut up a hot pepper and add to this mix. This is a good time to do that. So I don't like it that hot, so sometimes I add in pepper. Today I'm not going to. So now that I've got every piece well coated, I'm going to lay this out on a bar pan, and I'm going to pop this in the freezer or in the fridge and just let it cool until the cornmeal mix is on the okra. Now I'm going to let this sit in the fridge or the flash freezer for just a few minutes until it is hardened up, and then I'll toss it in a quart-size bag and label it and throw it in the freezer, and it will be ready to fry this winter.